All right. So we're live now. All right. If you're watching this after this has been recorded, go ahead and skip forward a few minutes. We're going to wait for everybody to start popping in before we start going over the agenda, what we're going to talk about. So we're going to give this a few minutes and we're just going to wait. Hopefully some people will start popping in soon and we didn't do this wrong.
Right.
It's our first time
using this camera and using this microphone. We need to make sure everybody can hear us.
using StreamYard.
Right.
Oh, we got 2 viewers. Looks like we're good.
Can y'all hear us?
Hey, everybody. Write us a comment. See if you can hear us. I just want to know that we're good. It's our first time. Hey, Miss Donna.
Hey, Donna.
Can you hear us? Good?
Can you hear?
It's good. Good. Yay, we're good. It's our first time using this software. So it seemed relatively simple to set up. And then when I sat down a while ago, I was like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, good.
I see Teresa and Pat.
Hey, Miss Teresa.
Donna and Kim.
Yeah.
Oh, got a text message. Don't need that.
You're probably telling us we're doing something wrong. Randall, we can see you.
Right.
You shouldn't do that.
Okay. I'm going to turn my volume down on my phone. But
how's everybody doing tonight?
Yes.
We don't go live, but when we do go live, we enjoy the live. I don't know why we don't do them more often.
Right.
We probably just need to take the time to sit down and just do them. So we got about 3 more minutes. We're going to allow people to pop in at 7 o'clock. We're just going to kick this off.
Yeah.
We wanted to kind of just pop in early and kind of work out any potential bugs that we may have.
We bought a brand new camera and we're using a speaker or a microphone that we're not used to using. So this is a whole new setup for us. And
Well, I bought the microphone 3 years ago, but
we haven't been using it
4 times.
We haven't been using it on this. But in the country, it's hard to get a signal. So we're also we're using our cell phones to get a signal.
We're hotspotting through our cell phone right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's more reliable than our satellite internet. I was really hoping that the Elon Musk Starlink would come to this area. And then when I went on there the other day, they said that all the resources have already been sold. And
wow.
So the next potential opening may be 2023 for Starlink for our area.
Okay.
Hey, Pat.
Loud and clear. Good.
Good.
Where's everybody from? Everybody's local. I know Donna's Florala, Ann's in Troy.
I don't know why Ann's in Troy. Didn't y'all just buy property
Kim's
in Florida?
from Texas. Okay. I'm trying to fix my hair. My hair.
A little late for that. You're fixing it in front of all the people.
I know. Okay. I would try not to touch it.
All right, 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. The reason we want to do this broadcast is because there is a food shortage coming, not just in the United States, not just in your local area. It's going to be a worldwide shortage. For the people who haven't been following, the mainstream media has mentioned that there is a food shortage coming, and they just kind of say it briefly in passing, and it'll be one of those "I told you so" moments later down the road. Well, we told you it was a food shortage coming. Right. You should have prepared yourself. But even during COVID, we noticed that the store shelves were empty. And Michelle went to the store recently. We can't find our creamer. And then at a certain time, you couldn't find cream cheese.
Right. And then sour cream for a short while. But right now it's the creamer. I cannot find our specific creamer. And then I can't find veggie noodles. That's been going on for like a month now.
So
I couldn't find crackers for a long time.
So we've already started to see some things not on the store shelves, and you've probably already been noticing that through COVID, but it's going to get worse. And they're saying over the next 2 to 3 years, we may enter into the level of being into a famine worldwide. Being in the United States, we import 50% of our nitrogen fertilizer, 80% of our phosphate, 80% of our potash fertilizer, and we do farm a lot of our potassium fertilizers here locally. So we are doing a little bit here in the United States, but the fact that we subsidize our own production from overseas, Russia, out of South America, and what's going on with Russia and Ukraine right now has really put a bind on people on getting fertilizers out.
Nancy's saying that from Murfreesboro, and she's saying that they're out of Pillsbury items, and their Pillsbury is right there in town. So
oh wow,
yeah,
and they can't even get it local to
can't even get it local.
But because of what's going on with the Russia and Ukraine thing, there's a lot less fertilizer coming out of the Black Sea area, which is a big seaport for Russia. They send most of their stuff in and out through the Black Sea, and there's a lot less fertilizer going worldwide. Because there's a 15% less of a production of fertilizer, that means it's going to be 15% less food. We're talking about big staples, your wheat and your corn,
right?
The big crops that feed the world, where a lot of nutrition dense products come from. They're talking about a shortage that makes up a difference to feed over 500 million people. In the United States, we only have around 300 million people in the United States. So the amount of shortage would be the difference of our population here in the United States. Right. Now, being that we're in the United States and we do have some level of a fertilizer production,
hey, Dusty,
we're not going to see as much of a loss in production as some other countries. Now, you have other countries that import everything. The deserts of Africa, all those countries, they import nearly 100%. And majority of what they import comes out of Ukraine and Russia and countries like that.
Right. I'm going to pull up the list.
If they're not exporting their grains, then those other countries are going to enter into a famine. And one of the things we wanted to address is we are here. We have decided we're stepping up our food production where we're at here. And we only have 2 acres. And
so David the Good said, my parents had that painting on the upper right when I was a kid.
I've seen that pictures
that
on
painting
a lot of people's
right there.
A lot of people's dining rooms and stuff.
We love it.
Yeah. But what I was saying is that here, even though we're only 2 acres, we have a 13 pecan tree orchard mainly that covers the main part of our yard. We only have a small amount of land that we can grow food on, and half of that area is fruits and the other half is our little garden. Now, when we moved here, we didn't plan on growing 100% of our food. I have always been a lover of gardening. I've always loved doing it ever since I was a little kid. I've always grown something, and I just wanted a nice little hobby garden that I could grow some subsidies on, not produce all the food that we eat. But this year, we're going to go to row crops. We're going to mass plant peas, butter beans. We've already missed the window for potatoes this year, but we expect to probably get 50, 60 pounds of potatoes out of our little box that we did plant.
Yeah.
We're stepping up our corn. And there's been a big push for the corn grist mill thing in the homesteading community. And I think we're going to get some type of a grist mill.
Right.
We don't know what that's going to be yet. We don't know if we're going to go just for something small and electric to start out with and maybe go up from there. But I think we start grinding our own corn, making our own corn flour, meal, grits.
I'm not going to shoot for the small. I say we come in the middle, something mid-size.
Yeah.
It's not too big, not too small.
Yeah. And there's a Kickstarter that just went off, and a good guy at Metcalf Mills is doing a Kickstarter where he is reinventing the grist mill, and it's supposed to be multi-powered. And so you could hook a small engine up to it, or an old belt style, something like that, and run these mills for the community.
So we see that a lot of people are growing a lot this year, and Ann even made part of her front yard a garden.
That's good. And I told some of my friends that if it ever does hit the fan here, our yards come out and gardens go in.
Yeah, that's true.
But if we're looking at getting an acre or two right behind us, or the next door neighbor, and we could probably grow everything that we need to eat in those amount of lands. I'm not a fan of having a yard. I've never been a fan of having a yard. That's Michelle's deal. She kind of takes care of the grass and stuff like that. Me, I'm more about fruit trees. And
coming from the city, your yard is like, you got a street curb,
Yeah, and that's the main idea of most of America.
Nobody has a riding lawnmower in the city. It's all a little push, because you just got a little bitty spot. I mean,
yeah. But we're going to be stepping it up. If we get row crops going in, we're probably going to get into a tractor and start managing those row crops. I have a tiller, but when you're talking about planting a large area for row crops, you got to do something more than just a little walk behind tiller.
So I'm curious. I know that the internet tries to, or not the internet, but media as a whole, the internet and social media and your news on TV, they try and kind of keep you from knowing what's going on. And I don't know if it's because they're afraid of mass scaring people and just a bunch of craziness going on and people just going crazy. But I don't like that they're not even telling us about any of this. And then whenever people are reaching out, trying to talk about it, they want to say, oh no, nothing's happening. And I mean, I have a list of all the fires and even distribution centers. And I mean, there's just way too many, from potatoes to onions to meat.
There are some private organizations that are food processing plants that have been targeted for fires. And I'm not saying that there's a conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theory.
Right. We're not trying to get political.
I'm not trying to push an agenda or say that there's an agenda afoot here. But when there is fires and facilities are being burned, there's going to be reduced amount of food available. Right. And everybody needs to start doing something. If you've never grown food before, get some little area. And we're actually, a lot of people will talk about just get something and start killing off plants until you learn how to grow. But we're almost to the point now that you need to be in full food production. You need to be subsidizing yourself. We've moved on and bought meat style chicken, the breast chickens.
Yeah.
We just today picked up 20 meat turkeys.
Well,
heritage.
One died.
Heritage
19.
breed turkeys that will reproduce, that we can hatch eggs off here. And so we have a sustainable chicken supply and a sustainable turkey supply.
And we're actually getting our beef and our pork from a local feed store that's in Bruton, Alabama. So if anybody locally in the area wants to message me or ask me about it, I'll let you know. But I don't want mass panic of people running out buying it all up and going crazy. But it's good to know that there are places like that out there where you still can get fresh beef and fresh pork. So tell us a little bit of what y'all are thinking. We'd like to hear from y'all.
David said our yard being covered in pumpkins. I'm with you there, man. Let's cover it up in pumpkins. Matter of fact, Michelle's friend gave us 3 packages of pumpkin seeds today.
Yes.
The white ones, the jack-o'-lantern type, and then a can of some other type, an edible type of a pumpkin. But I've got
the orange one too. We got the orange pumpkin.
Yeah. Now my favorite is Cherokee Tan. I've got some of those going in the garden, so that's a good producer.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to be putting in a lot of sweet potatoes this year. David had mentioned putting in some yams and cassava, and he gave me some cassava cuttings, and we got that going in our garden beds right now. But we're going to see how that turns out for us. Michelle's really excited about the cassava.
Yes.
And seeing what we can do with that.
Yes, because we eat taco shells. It's made from cassava. Potato chips. It's made from cassava. So I'm excited.
Yeah, she's really excited about getting her hands on the
We
cassava
gotta get
and playing around with that.
a grain mill. So
And now, if you're local to our area, some of the feed stores will start getting in some sweet potato vines, some starts. So if you haven't started and planned ahead to get sweet potatoes in the ground, you'll be able to buy some starts here soon. So we're going to be putting in some sweet potatoes. We're going to be putting in several crops of corn. And we actually have about 14 tomato plants. That's more than we typically plant. But we're going to be canning out a bunch of tomatoes this year and putting those in cans, making our sauces. So that'll good. We always grow enough green beans that feed us through the year, and enough broccoli that we can almost get through the year, and broccoli at least take us until the fall when we can do a fall harvest of broccoli. But
so I'm going to tell David in particular about, because he's like, it is a conspiracy. Well, I went to Food Giant today over here in Century. And when I got in there, I went in there to buy some Thousand Island. It's in the refrigerated section. Anyways, everything was out of the refrigerated section. I thought, that's weird. What are they remodeling? What's going on? So I asked one of the employees, I was like, what's going on? I noticed that y'all are out of a lot of your fruits and vegetables and everything looks empty. And he said, well, actually our power went out last night at 10:45 after nobody was in the store. And when they came in the next morning, everything in the refrigerated sections was bad and they had to throw it all out. But not only their power went out, but the other Food Giant store in Miles Food Tiger, they're both owned by Greer's. That's what he said. Food Tiger, it's owned by Greer's, and it was in so miles away from the Century one also ran out of power at the very same time, and no other buildings in town were out of power, just the grocery stores.
Cue the conspiracy theory music now.
Yes. So I was like,
that's a coincidence. I almost picked up the phone today on my drive home just to call those grocery stores and just get the backstory. Hey, what happened? Because
I thought somebody didn't pay their bill.
But in the middle of the night in this small town, they generally don't go down around and start cutting your power off at midnight and stuff like that.
Well, if you're in Florida, they might. They did once when I was in college, and I couldn't pay the bill. They wait till like a Friday night at 10 o'clock, and then you can't go in and pay it. You got to wait till Monday.
They catch you.
Yeah.
It's Russia. We've been hacked. I have a coworker, and he was telling me about an experience. They were having a meeting, and this IT guy runs into the meeting. We've been hacked. It's the Russians.
Oh, wonderful.
But
that's highly improbable sabotage.
Hey, Tamara. Hey, Jessica. 32 tomato plants. Wow, that's great.
That's a lot.
I hope you put all those 32 to good use. Along that same note, our onions have done incredible this year.
Yeah.
They're and they're Valdea style, which is what's the name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Valdea is just what they call them.
He's being nice.
Big slice.
They're more like
onions.
this.
They're
huge.
So this is probably the best onions we've ever grown this year. What we were doing this year, we're going to continue doing. And I've spaced them 8 inches apart each in rows 8 inches apart, so they're 8 inches on square.
Except for broccoli. Tell them about the broccoli situation.
So I've been doing some studying on the broccoli. Our broccoli's been a bust last year.
The last couple of years. Well, the last couple of planting, because we planted some, like 2 different seasons in 1 year.
Ones that I grew from seed, which was the Waltham 28 broccoli. And it just hasn't turned out. Well, I went back to Atmore, to the Central, or Atmore Farm Supply, and I bought their starts. So you get 15 to a bundle for just a couple of dollars. And we planted those, and they made short stalks like this, but then the leaves come way up. And then right now, it's got broccoli heads like this big right now. We got to harvest our broccoli probably tomorrow. But it is just, I've been so impressed with this broccoli harvest. Now, at the same time, I took the seeds that I started from my Waltham 28, we planted those into another bed. So we have a side-by-side comparison, same soil, same temperature, same everything. And the Waltham 28 has grown tall. It's got big, beautiful leaves on it, and the heads are just starting to come on, but they're only about this big. And I don't expect my Waltham 28 to turn out as good as what Atmore Feed Store has sold us. I want to get in touch with that guy that supplies them their starts and see what variety he grows. I've been in the some of the seed catalogs and looked at some of the hybrids, and I've about got it narrowed down. I think it's Emerald.
The kind that we did get was from a seed catalog, wasn't it? The kind that's not producing?
I just stopped at a local feed store and I bought in bulk the Waltham 28 broccoli seeds.
And then did you do that same broccoli last year and the last 2 times? Because it's been awful.
Yeah.
We're
So
not doing that anymore.
We'll probably move away from that. But we got purple corn right now. We plan on just growing a purple corn, grinding that into
blue corn,
into blue corn for cornbreads, stuff like that. But since this food crisis has hit, we're going to do several plantings of corn. I have an heirloom corn
and cassava
that has been passed down and passed down and passed down to our next door neighbor, and the old man over there gave us some of his heirloom corn. Actually, his son Keith gave us the corn, but it's through their generations, and it's a
from
yellow,
this area too, right?
Yellow, white type of corn that grows like 12 feet tall.
We can use that for feed and
and also grinding. It's a dent corn. So we're going to be planting some of that, and we're going to grind some of that, and plan on getting more into that. Maybe we need to plant about 20 different types and let them inbreed. Talking about the broccoli, maybe we need to do a land race broccoli for this area, and just let 2 of those plants go to seed and harvest from there. Throw in a couple more hybrids and just let them fight it out. Dave has touched on that several times about doing land race,
right?
And just harvest from the strongest, most desirable, and just replant those seeds.
I don't have the patience for that, for one. I mean, I want broccoli, so I want whatever is producing broccoli. So
that would have to be a side experiment.
Yeah, right. Out with the one that's not putting out broccoli.
Yeah.
Just be done with it. Yeah.
All right. What else? Let me look through the comments here. I've been talking and rambling. I haven't been reading the comments as much. Ann Miller just bought about 20 more multi-purpose chickens. That's wonderful, Ann. Jessica said, today I sat down and looked at how much money we're spending on feed for our animals and trying to figure out how much we can.
Okay, so that's a good point, Jessica, talking about feed, spending money on feed, because I was telling Randall, whenever I went to get feed at the store, what I normally spend $26 on cost me $35.
Yeah.
The same amount.
The cost of feed's going up.
So.
And being concerned about the prices going up, one thing, but when there becomes a shortage and you can't get what you need,
that's right. And
then it's really difficult. That's why we're going to start growing our own grains, particularly corn, and we're going to let our chickens graze across the grass, supplement them with some corn. I'd like to grow some heirloom wheat, maybe some einkorn, But you have to have a lot of land to grow a good amount of wheat to do anything with.
And if you have a ton of eggs, you might want to look into, is it pickling them or just jarring them? They're not pickled, but just put
There
them
are some
up.
homesteaders that are
Canning
preserving it
eggs.
with
Yeah.
lime and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could can eggs.
Can chickens live solely on wheatgrass?
That's a good question.
I had a rooster that was kept in my mom's pen, and she fed that rooster solely corn for about 3 years.
Wow.
Nothing else.
Wow.
So I would imagine that a rooster probably could, or a chicken probably could live pretty well just off of wheatgrass, but I don't know if that would be desirable. I think a good healthy mix of everything would be.
What's comfrey?
Comfrey is a plant that has long roots that go down into the soil, and it mines up all the minerals from deep, and then you harvest those leaves, and then you can use that to fertilize your other plants.
Is that grass you pointed out that's in that field out there that you said takes over?
No, that's Kogon.
Okay. I knew it started with a C.
Yeah, freeze dry. I would love to have a freeze dryer. Yeah. One of the things I've noticed about chickens is the higher the protein level, the better they tend to do as far as meat production and egg laying. We buy 22% layer, which tends to be a little bit higher in soybeans. And I know there's some concerns about having too much soy in the diet and those estrogens getting over into the human diet. And but yeah, that's generally how they control the protein contents through soy. But higher the protein levels, the better your chickens are going to do. And even our meat chickens, we always fed them a high protein diet. And we harvest our meat chickens at about 8 weeks old, the Cornish cross.
Yeah, but we don't have those.
Or we've moved on from Cornish cross for now.
We're probably going to get a couple Cornish cross just for the homestead event that's going on in October, because we're going to
be teaching a class on butchering chickens at the homesteading event.
So we're going to get a few for that, but since it only takes 6-7 weeks, you might be all right for right now.
Yeah. Water glass the eggs. That's it, Jessica. Thank you. That's how you can preserve the eggs really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I wish I had some comfrey growing. I'd definitely use that in my garden.
Where do we get that?
I know a lot of people trade it among themselves, and you can buy it.
That might just become a really big thing, is trading out seeds with people, because I see that becoming a stronghold for, the big G. Yeah. Hold us back from getting seeds.
Jennifer said, I went to the feed store today. Layer feed hasn't gone up yet, but they said broiler feed is going to skyrocket in the next month, I'm sure. I'll figure out how much I can grow this year. Yeah, it's all going up. If it hasn't went up in your area yet, it's going to. And I know that if you look at the futures market, wheat is just bell curved right on up. Wheat is through the roof. That's one of those that's going to be dependent on the nitrogen or the fertilizer shortage.
Right.
We're going to be seeing a big decrease in that. I know David just got cows. He got a big fertilizer production. That's what he's got. Not only is he getting milk off of his cows, he's getting all that good, healthy manure that he can incorporate back to his gardens.
Right.
And I've really been heavy on the chickens this year, harvesting out of the compost bin and harvesting all the chicken manure and putting that into the garden. Yeah. Thank you for all the responses. You're welcome, Tay.
We don't really eat enough meat to get a cow, but
what are y'all expecting for food shortages, like empty grocery shelves, or just more or less what we see now? Anything that has your main crops in it, soybeans, wheat, and corn, which is the majority of what's on your shelves at the store. So anything that has those ingredients in it, you're going to start seeing shortages of that. So instead of having 10 varieties of wheat thins,
I've heard something about,
and then even short supplies.
Hatcheries that were target, I think. Let me see.
At Tyson, the hatcheries. But there's a big bird flu thing going on right now. So they've had millions of chickens killed which we've been through this
Mhm.
before, but whenever they do that,
The Tyson poultry plant in Kentucky, Kellogg's plant, Tyson feed ingredients out of Alabama, the meat provider in Georgia, JBS meat plant. These are all places that were targeted with fires or destroyed. So they had some sort of damage or they were destroyed. So meat provider in Georgia, JBS meat plant in Nebraska, Smithfield Foods plant in North Carolina, fertilizer plant in North Carolina, Wisconsin River Meats, Louis Dreyfus largest soy processing plant in the United States, which is in Indiana, the potato plant processor in Oregon, fertilizer plant in Kansas, and then
and anytime you suffer a supply interruption due to these type of incidents that are going on, it trickles down to us. So if Smithfield Hams in North Carolina, wherever they're at, has a fire, then you're going to have less meats going out, drive the price up.
And the oddest thing, there were two different plane crashes, one near the General Mills cereal plant, which it actually went down in the parking lot and nobody was injured, thank goodness. But then there was another one that was in Idaho just a few weeks earlier than that, a potato processing facility.
And I know there's always fires and incidences that happen at food processing. Now, I heard yesterday that
even one in Canada.
there was a food processing plant that caught fire because they had fresh corn in the cooler, and they thought that spontaneous heating created the fire. That sounds a little wishy-washy.
Right. Yeah. There was a big plant in Quebec, Canada, industrial food preparation and processing facility. East Way Beef and Pork Butcher Shop in Maine. River Valley Ingredients Plant in Alabama. Patek Meat Production Company in Georgia. So there's a long list. There's some on here I'm not even reading. Deli Star in Illinois. There's another one in Ontario, Canada, Harper's Market. There's another meat processing plant in Wisconsin, a meat company in El Paso, Texas. I don't know how to say that, Sharrows Foods in Oregon. And of course, the Nestle Hot Pockets plant, which I don't think we miss out on anything from
Yeah,
that.
I'm okay with not having Hot Pockets.
Yeah. Walmart distribution center and a Walmart storefront.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's going to be an immediate shortage whenever you're having a rare abundance of fires at facilities and stuff like this.
Yeah, Tay said it right. She said apparently 23 or 25 food facilities burned, and that's correct.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Every
I think it was last year that we had the lumber shortage going on. At the same time, there were lumber facilities that were burning also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy. It just seems to go in waves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. McMurray had problems. The Azure standard burned to the ground.
Yeah. Well, their headquarters did.
Right.
But they're still up and running.
Right. But we had my stepsister ordered something, and they sent her a letter and said, "I'm sorry, but we're burnt to the ground. You're not going to get your order."
At least it'd be severely delayed. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, it's very sad, and we're not telling y'all to make you worry, or we just want to make sure everybody's informed. I know that if y'all have watched our videos, you know that we like to educate people and we're all about information. So if we're seeing this and everyone out there is not, we just want to make sure everyone's aware of what's going on so they can start preparing. I mean, you know, maybe you grow more vegetables than you're used to growing. Maybe you do stock up a little extra at the grocery store.
One of the things we're doing, we're buying a butterbean sheller.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reason I bought the old used butterbean sheller is so that I can build more shellers.
Mm-hmm.
One for us for sure. I may still build 1 or 2 to sell to get out.
Right.
But we're going to do a bean sheller, pea sheller also for our pink eye purple hull peas. We're going to grow row crops of those. And then we'll have a fast way to get those shelled and get them into the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also another thing that will step up calories for
Right.
us. It's easy. It grows well here.
And it's protein. Beans are protein.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dried beans are for sure.
Right. And you're right, Hog. Definitely. So, he provides.
Yeah, stay prayed up right
Yeah.
now because we've got some difficult times ahead.
And that, in fact, that's what we recommend. You pray, and then you plant your seeds, and then you pray some more and plant your seeds, harvest, pray.
I was kind of shocked that Michelle told me that her cousin and that her family kind of lives in a little small community right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to go to have meetings among themselves and talking about food production
Mm-hmm.
and preparing for what's coming. They're buying extras at the store
Right.
to put back.
And she knew that this was going to happen, so they sold their house and they bought a bunch of land, and she's got solar panels, and I mean,
she's off the grid.
She's off the grid, and she's
100%.
starting to try and produce all these vegetables, and she's got horses, and so yeah, that's what it's all about.
Well, glad to have you along, Tay-Tay.
If we get the
squash bug problem.
painted us to y'all's channel.
We went and looked at our squash plants today, and I turned a leaf over, and we already have squash bugs laying eggs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we got to
that's
stay on top of
aggravating.
the squash bugs. We always have a nice supply of squash that gets us through a year worth. We cut it up, we blanch it for a few minutes in hot water. We put it in freezer bags in meals.
But we are growing that zucchini, and I want to make that zucchini candy. So.
Oh, you can't say zucchini. David the Good's listening. He doesn't.
Oh.
He doesn't like that word.
I'll just say that Z vegetable. How about that?
Yeah.
Yep, leaf-footed bugs. That's right, Amanda.
This is Michelle, my beautiful wife.
Aw, thank
Tay-Tay
you.
said she loves your hair.
I didn't catch your name at Pumpkin Face. Aw, thank you so much, Michelle.
And I'm Randall.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't say that on my videos. I just figure I'm just...
Yeah, he's the face, and I'm the camera lady. So, I like to put the videos together. And
I need to do a better job introducing us on our videos.
I don't really like to be in front of the camera. I'd rather be behind it. I put the music on there and all the little saying, the text, and I enjoy filming. So. And thank you for my compliment on my hair. I appreciate it.
All right. Any questions? Anything you want to talk about?
Great.
The
team.
Talent, the producer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great team. That's us. Yay. We always say that about ourselves. We make a really good team. So, yeah.
I thought we had honeybees come back to our hive. We lost our honeybees. Our hives have just been sitting out there for the last year and a half. And I walked out there yesterday, and there were a bunch of honeybees around.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
There we go. How do I look?
No.
Am I any prettier?
How do you get there, baby? Now. That's funny.
I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah, honeybees.
Honeybees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought we had honeybees because I saw honeybees flying around our abandoned hive, and I went out there and checked a while ago, and I think they're just robbing the old wax out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But I may put some lemongrass in there and see if we can attract a swarm back to. But Michelle said we kind of want to hold off on bees until we can move the boxes to the back of the new property.
Because if we're going to get that property in the back behind us, then it's perfect. We could put the bees way back there on the very back side of that.
Right in the middle of the sun.
Yeah.
Keep the hive beetles off of them.
When I'm cutting grass, the lawnmower's really loud, and they stung me right above my ear one time. So I'd rather avoid all that.
What was our best garden success in 2021? Let me see. Well, 2021 involved a lot of teardrop camper builds and building. I neglected the garden.
Bad.
I don't know that.
Bad.
You know what?
So our gardening success, we put down that garden paper. What is the fabric?
Yeah, the fabric.
That was a game changer.
Yeah, it's nice not having the grass and the weeds in between the boxes. We did good on our green beans. We did adequate. We didn't do as good as the previous year because we didn't tend to them very much, but we got them in the ground, and they produced enough that we put up enough green beans to last us for the entire year. We eat green beans at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, about twice a week.
Yeah, so we put up a lot of green beans last year. The Cherokee Tan pumpkins, where I planted them, I had a 20-foot run one way and a 20-foot run the other way. And they did good for us. And I think I'm going to do more with the pumpkins. I really enjoy them. My favorite winter squash to grow is the Delicata honey boat. I planted a few of those this year. Michelle's not a big fan of the pumpkins or the winter squash, but I will get in there and I'll prepare it. I'll make a few of them at a time and then put a couple in the refrigerator.
Now I like them whenever we give them to my aunt, and then she makes
pumpkin
pie and then gives us back the pie. Actually, she'll mix it up and make the filling and give me back the filling, and then I could just put it in a pie crust and, oh, look, I made pie. So
do we have mason bees down here? I've never been one to try to keep the mason bees. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if we have mason bees. We have every other bug here. I'm sure we do.
Right.
I know we have the carpenter bee that always drills holes in the side of your house, and then we have honeybees.
Right. So, last off at night church info: grow on your own. Okay.
100 pounds of sweet potatoes. I hope we end up with 100 pounds of sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes, and I don't know why we haven't grown an abundance of them in the past, but they're easy. You wrap them in aluminum foil, throw them in the oven. 45 minutes later,
I'm excited for the purple potatoes. So those are really good. If you ever get a chance to grow some purple potatoes, they're really good. Yeah,
we grow little purple fingerling potatoes, and we like adding them, but it's going to be time to step up and put some nutrients in the. So we're going to step up our potato production next year.
Right. They're just a lot of carbs.
They are a lot of carbs. There's a lot of calories. Yeah. Pound for pound, square foot for square foot, potatoes are probably one of the most rewarding things that you can plant.
We do a lot of peppers, and David the Good can attest for that. We have a lot of peppers that grow here at our house.
Yeah, I have a little pepper collection. I've not hit that much on my YouTube channel.
Right.
I need to cover all the different varieties, but I really wanted to grow the different pepper varieties, cut them up, freeze them, and then put them into sautés and stuff like that, and then get a rainbow of flavors.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I want to do some sauces and some pepper jelly, and he's got some neat peppers like I've never even heard of before. So I want to do a lot with that. That's probably something we grow every year are the peppers.
Oh, the Marconis, the sweet Marconis?
Yeah.
We always put gallons and gallons of chopped sweet Marconis in the freezer.
Yeah.
And along with our onions, we put gallons and gallons of chopped onions in the freezer.
No shortage of peppers and onions usually.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that we enjoyed last night, and we have a video coming this weekend, was artichokes. Our artichoke plant is loaded. I have about 10 heads. Last night we had a nice big green globe artichoke.
Yeah.
And then Michelle found this little recipe of how to season it up and steam it.
It's so good.
Man, it was the best artichoke I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, and you can dip it in like a butter sauce, but I just like it natural. It's better like that.
It was so
really
good.
light.
And we're going to have it again tonight. After the live stream, we're going to go in there and finish up the video seasoning out the artichoke.
A little appetizer.
Yeah.
Dessert. Artichoke for dessert.
Oh, and David, you gave me the Peruvian apple cactus, and it's growing roots. I've been doing some research. No research. Research is already done. I've just been reading the research, and I'm excited about the Peruvian apple cactus. If anybody is interested in dragon fruit and you like dragon fruit, this is an equivalent that's cold hardy for our area. And it tends to be just a tad bit smaller than dragon fruit, but essentially side by side, it's about the same thing. And they grow up to 20 foot tall if you keep them protected. They're hardy down to 18 degrees. So it definitely fits where we're at.
Is that what we're going to put in our little tropical garden that we're going to make?
This might get big. I want to propagate these. I want to grow a lot of these. So we're going to put this away. I don't know. Maybe we put it under Maya's window. Keep her from sneaking out of the house at night.
She's not going to sneak out. She'll be moving out soon. So
no, we'll put it back away so that nobody accidentally bumps into it. So I'm excited about the Peruvian apple cactus.
Okay, let's see what the comments are. Please do a recipe or two on how to prepare artichokes. Yes, look for our video. We're gonna
It's coming out.
When we get done here with the live chat. We're gonna go and finish the video, and we're gonna steam the artichoke again. And I'm gonna give you the recipe in the video.
That'll be out Saturday morning.
Yep, Saturday. Look for that Saturday.
We're trying to get onto a schedule where we have a video every Wednesday and every Saturday, and we've been doing pretty good for the past month. Been releasing 2 videos. I got so much content that I've been writing and taking notes of everything I want to do videos on, and I got some really good content coming.
So there's avocado ice cream from Publix. Oh my gosh, I've got to try that. Thank you, Tay Tay. I appreciate that.
Avocados. Our guacamole tree is loaded with guacamole berries.
Is it really?
Yeah. And Michelle wants to cut it down.
I am so ready to be done with this tree because it's in the way of our pizza oven and fireplace that we can't seem to get finished because of the avocado tree is in the way. Not really, but yeah.
Well, if all these set and they've been bloomed for several weeks now, and so I'm starting to see little ones all over it, and hopefully we'll have a lot of guacamole berries.
We will see. Hopefully.
Avocados.
Because if not, the tree is. We're gonna put another one somewhere else in the yard.
David says you can sneak some young potatoes out now. Yeah, I kind of reached down into the plants today and pulled one out, and we have red potatoes that are ready, and our purple potatoes are blooming. So that means they are setting potatoes right now. And so it'll probably be another week whenever those tops start to die, but whenever they die, then we'll be harvesting our purple potatoes.
David says cutting down a fruit tree is a capital offense. Oh my gosh. Well, what about if you start that same fruit tree somewhere else in your yard? So you really just kind of transplant. You're moving the tree.
I have 5 seedlings, and I'm going to graft this variety onto those 5 seedlings, and then we're going to plant out into other areas for sure. We're not losing the tree.
Right. Yeah.
We're reproportioning the tree.
That's right.
Yeah, avocados are better for you than pizza.
They are.
True statement.
We enjoy it. Yeah. I don't care for guacamole, but I do like avocados on my burger or my tacos or on my sushi especially.
On your pizza?
No. Definitely in my sushi. Yes, David's a nut.
Yeah.
What if you kill your spouse and just get a new one? Nope, that won't work either.
No. Yeah, I like my spouse.
Aw, thank you. I like mine too.
I'm glad you're satisfied. Glad I'm adequate.
That's a whole nother video, baby. All right, let's change the subject. Okay.
So we probably need to get back on the subject of the emergency, the shortage of food that's coming. But what I was saying is I got a butterbean sheller coming. I'm going to build a few butterbean shellers, one for myself for sure. Then I'll probably sell the old one, and then maybe sell 1 or 2. But I think it's important to have a fast way to shell a bulk. The reason I didn't grow butter beans in the past is I hate shelling them. Open up one pod only to get 3 beans. You spend an hour and only get just a bowl full of butter beans.
Let me get to where I hate it. I'm a city girl. I never shelled butter beans. So let me just wear my little hands out until I hate it. And then,
Well, for $300, we're going to get a sheller. Throw them in there, 2 minutes, they're done. Blanch them, put them in the freezer.
Then we're going to make one, so look for that video. And then we're going to turn around and sell the one that he's buying. So
that's the reason. Another reason I wanted to buy it and build one is because I went everywhere and I could not find the gear ratio on how to build a butterbean sheller. So I wanted to make a video on how to build a butterbean sheller to help other people out there on their homesteads also build a butterbean sheller, so that you can throw a 5-gallon bucket of butter beans in and have it shelled in 2 minutes. Yeah, and the same with pink eye purple hulls. The sheller would work. You just got to rebuild the basket because the little pods will go through the wire that the butter beans. Yeah.
Love shelling peas and beans on the back. Probably on the back porch. I think she didn't finish that sentence.
Yeah, I don't mind hand shelling the Crowder peas. That doesn't bother me as much as butter beans. I love to eat butter beans, but I just don't want to take the time to shell all of them. Once you figure out the details, recreate it.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Randall's so smart. Whenever it comes to doing stuff like that, he can recreate anything.
I'm not smart. I just emulate what I see.
Well.
Nothing new under the sun.
That takes smarts.
Especially with me.
Not everybody can do that, so.
Yeah, put on music with shelling. Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to try that, Nancy. I'm going to play some music while I'm shelling. Da, 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 da.
Techno. That's what she works out to.
No.
Techno bean shelling.
No. There's techno country, right? Yeah, that might not work out too well. Okay, stay with us. For some reason, it's buffering. So.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any questions before we end the live stream? I think we've been on here long enough, and we've discussed what we came here to discuss.
So. Pick those beans when
Scary pig mask. Yeah, I enjoy David's videos that he does whenever he does like the skits. Enjoy the skits. So we have a couple of skits in our recent videos.
Techno country, I know.
The most recent tomato video I did a Bob Ross clip at the end.
Yes,
that was fun. We did quite a few of them. So
that's when he had his beard. He looked like Bob Ross.
So we'll have some upcoming Bob Ross clips.
Yep.
Blackberries are in full swing right now.
Yes.
I want to make some blackberry jelly.
And Randall just tightened up our grapevines, so that looks really good.
Yeah, our Concord grapes are in full swing, and our Blanc de Beau white wine grapes are in full swing.
So Teresa said the garden calendar would be a great share. So maybe on Facebook you can share it out.
Yeah, ufseeds.com has a calendar, and you put in there when your last frost date is.
ufseeds.com.
Urban Farmer is what it stands for.
Okay.
And I go to his website and I use his calendars because you can plug in your last frost date for your spring garden. And then for your fall garden, you plug in your first frost date. And then you can look to see when you need to start your transplants, when you need to start your direct sowing.
I think, Nancy, I just read about, I think you can store rice in glass jars for like years. I mean, I want to say like 7 years. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's a long time.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't grow rice.
I just read something on that the other day. But then Karen So you said someone needs a backyard garden cookbook. I'm working on that. And actually, I am going to write a cookbook. So it's basically a tiny camper cookbook, but it could be a survival gardening cookbook too, because when you're camping, we're like homeless in our camper trying to survive.
I think that would be an important type of cookbook for a homestead.
Yeah. So look for that.
Amanda, how long have you been growing Concord grapes? There is a southern variety by the University of Florida that grows here in the hot, humid South called Sunbelt. And I picked it up at Lowe's down in Pensacola. I've been growing that grapevine for about 4 years, and we grew enough that we made several jars of Concord grape jelly last year, and it is awesome. Tastes just like Welch's Concord grape jelly.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
And we're going to be expanding our grape orchard, and we're going to be planting more Concord grapes out there because I really enjoy those Concord grapes.
Yeah, Concord grapes. Anyways, what is that? That's that big long word.
Diatomaceous?
Yeah.
Yeah. Diatomaceous earth and stored greens. Yeah, that would definitely keep the beetles out.
Yeah. I think all you have to do is just put it in for some reason
You could dry can rice also.
Dry can?
Yeah, you put dried rice in a can and you can it into jars.
That's what we're talking about. That's what you store rice in glass jars, but you can it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that would kill any kind of bugs.
And I think I read, so I'm going to look it up one more time, that it was like years, like a long, long time. So.
Are we making pies with the grapes? No, we haven't. Last year was our first harvest of grapes. Before that, we only get onesie twosies, just a handful to eat here and there. Last year we had a nice harvest of Concord grapes, like a big bowl of them.
So I try and eat healthy, and I don't really care for having pies and cakes and stuff like that because it requires flour, enriched flour, and sugar. And so I'm just trying to stay away from all that. And I guess I'm a little bit of a bummer whenever it comes to we don't have a lot of cakes and sweets around the house because food just jumps on me. And all of a sudden, I put on weight. I don't even have to eat it. It just, grabs me from across the room. But it's not like most ice cream. It's not like some people, you can eat whatever you want. You never gain a pound. So I literally have to make sure that I watch everything I eat. So we're not really big on junk food or cakes and pies and, fried food. We just try and stay healthy. So I'm looking up about the rice.
We actually bought a 25-pound bag of sugar when we first moved here. We were we were making some jams and jellies. And I think we just topped that bag off.
Yeah, we just finished it. So we had it for 5 years.
Yeah, 25 pounds lasted for 5. And half of that went into our jellies. So we don't eat a lot of sugar here. We don't put it in our coffees.
But I'd like to try monk fruit.
Yeah, we use monk fruit in our coffee. Doesn't mess with your blood sugar levels.
And now I found the little monk fruit single packs to put in the truck for our vacations and whenever we get on the road, because we do that quite often. We're gone once or twice a month.
And the best thing about monk fruit is it doesn't change the flavor of the what you're eating.
Yeah. So Tay, I'm going to try some monk fruit in our jellies and our jams and see how well that does.
I know if you buy the sugarless jelly packages, there's a recipe in the box on how to make jams and jellies without sugar. I'm not sure that would be good.
But monk fruits taste just like sugar. So like Randall said, we use it in our coffee. I actually do cook with it. So I use it in recipes that call for sugar. I use monk fruit instead of sugar. So, you have to feed that gorgeous hair. Yeah, Lush. I use Lush hair products. There you go. And Hask. HASK. So
All right. It's been about an hour.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Oh, wait a minute. I was going to tell her about the longest shelf, 37 longest lasting shelf canned foods, rice. So let's just see. I looked it up. So let's see how long that. Yep, Tay uses has too. So shelf canned foods, okay. I bought a bunch of talking about canning stuff. I bought a bunch of soup making stuff, and I'm gonna can a bunch of soup. So the best can.
Don't eat the thoughts. Glove says, I just inherited mom's canning supplies and no excuse now not to learn how to use a pressure canner.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to use a pressure canner.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's scary, the thought that, you're dealing with this thing that's under pressure, but they're pretty safe to this day and time. So
canned meat has a 4 to 10 years shelf life. If you can your meat, 4 to 10 years.
Our next door neighbor, Farrell, when his wife was still living, they used to put up all their garden vegetables, and he's still eating green beans years after she's passed.
So it says most canned vegetables, the shelf life can be anywhere from 3 to 8 years. And I guess it just depends on if it had a really good seal on it or not.
Monk fruit is not sustainable in our area, so get it while it's on your shelf.
So canned beans and legumes has a shelf life 3 to 6 years. Canned fish 3 to 6 years. I'm getting to the rice. Canned rice has 2 to 6 years. So, depending on how well it seals, you could get 2 to 6 years. But it's much better to do that than to just leave it on your shelf and let all those little
canned foods last a while. So if you have an abundance 1 year, can all your abundance. Don't let that go away, because you may have a bad year of tomatoes where you don't get to put up tomatoes. You can always reach back and grab an extra year's worth of tomatoes if you've put them up previously. We did experience that this past year with our tomatoes. We planted just enough to have fresh tomatoes. And it's because I didn't focus on the garden as much as I've done in the past because of other things we had going on. And I'm glad that we put back extras.
And Tay said she's so intimidated by the canning. And I know what you're talking about, because I'm a city girl coming out here to the country to Randall, and Randall knew how to do all this stuff. And I was like, I'm just going to assist. And, until I feel comfortable jumping in there and doing it on my own.
So now she has her own little Pioneer Lady pressure cooker that she cooks her meals in. She's not afraid of it. It's user friendly. It's easy.
I still haven't canned anything.
But we have the big Presto
myself.
canner that we can all of our big vegetable stuff.
You really kind of need a partner to help you, because it can be a long process canning. It's always easier if you've got someone to help you out. All right. Thank you so much.
So we're going to go ahead and end it. And we appreciate you tuning in and watching. And we hope to do more of these in the future.
Yeah, we'll have to start doing it at least once a month. So,
all right.
Bye, guys.
Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're new here.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.